The rain hit the windshield like bullets from a grudge I didn't know I'd earned. I just stormed out of my boyfriend's apartment in Capitol Hill, Seattle, my backpack slung over one shoulder, phone clutched like a lifeline that had gone dead. "You're too much of a mess for this city," he'd spat, the door slamming behind me with the finality of a guillotine. And there I was, Nathan Hayes, 27 and unraveling, thumbing for an Uber on a street that smelled like wet asphalt and regret. My phone buzzed 5 minutes out. I huddled under the awning of a shuttered coffee shop, watching couples duck into bars, their laughter slicing through me like shrapnel. That's when the truck pulled up, not some sleek Prius, but a rusty Ford F-150 with mud-splattered tires and a bumper sticker reading, "Not all heroes wear capes. Some drive trucks." The window rolled down, and a voice cut through the storm. "Nathan? Hop in before you turn into a drowned rat. I've got heat, coffee, and zero judgment." I froze, staring at the guy behind the wheel. Jasper. That was his name on the app. 4 stars. Reliable in the rain. He had this easy grin, the kind that crinkled the corners of hazel eyes shadowed by a faded baseball cap. Broad shoulders filled out a flannel shirt, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms etched with faint tattoos, like road maps from a life I'd never charted. I hesitated, rain dripping off my nose, but something in his steady gaze pulled me forward. I yanked the door open and slid into the passenger seat, the cab enveloping me in the scent of pine air freshener and strong black coffee from a thermos wedged in the console. "Thanks," I muttered, shaking water from my hair like a dog. Did my dramatic exit look good from afar? Jasper chuckled, low and warm, shifting into gear as he merged into the traffic-snarled artery of Broadway. Looked like the plot of a bad rom-com. But hey, every hero needs a getaway vehicle. He glanced over, eyes flicking to my soaked jeans and the way my fingers twisted the strap of my bag. "Where to? Or should I just drive till the rain stops lying to us?" "Capitol Hill to Fremont," I said, reciting the address of my crappy studio sublet like it was a prayer. The wipers thwacked rhythmically, a metronome to my pounding heart. I should have scrolled TikTok, stared out the window, anything to avoid the vulnerability creeping in. But Jasper had this way of filling the space. Not with small talk, but questions that landed soft as snow. "Rough night?" he asked, not prying, just opening the door. I laughed, bitter as the dregs of yesterday's brew. "You could say that. Boyfriend decided I'm allergic to commitment. Or maybe he is. Kicked me out mid-argument. Said I was too emotional for Seattle's tough love." The words tumbled out, unbidden, and I hated how they hung there, exposed. Jasper nodded. No pity in his eyes, just understanding. "Seattle chews up the soft ones first. But emotional? That's not a flaw, man. That's fuel. My ex used to call me a sentimental fool for keeping his old mixtapes. Turns out, he was just scared of feeling anything real." He passed me the thermos. "Sip. It's black, no sugar. Wakes you up without the crash." I took it, our fingers brushing for a split second, electric in the dim cab light. The coffee burned going down, grounding me. "Jasper, right? You don't sound like the typical Uber guy. What's a guy like you doing ferrying strangers through this monsoon?" He shrugged, one hand loose on the wheel as we crossed the Fremont Bridge, the Space Needle a ghostly silhouette against bruised clouds. "Pays the bills while I figure out the rest. Used to be a line cook at this hole-in-the-wall in Ballard, great ribs, crap hours. Burned out, so now it's gigs. Uber, DoorDash, odd jobs fixing bikes. Keeps me moving, you know? Can't stand still too long or the ghosts catch up." "Ghosts?" I echoed, leaning back, the seat's vinyl creaking under me. His jaw tightened, just a flicker. "Family stuff. Dad bailed when I was a kid. Left mom with 3 boys and a mountain of debt. I was the middle one, always the fixer. Learned early that kindness is a muscle. Use it or lose it." He turned onto my street, the truck's headlights sweeping over Victorian houses draped in ivy, their windows glowing like safe havens I'd never quite reached. We pulled up to my building, a squat brick thing with a fire escape that rattled in the wind. The meter read $28.50. I fumbled for my wallet, but Jasper waved it off. "On the house. Consider it my good deed for the decade. You look like you need a win tonight." I stared at him, wallet halfway out. "You serious?" I don't even know what to say. Say you'll text me if the rain gets metaphorical. He pulled out his phone, and we swapped numbers, mine under drowned rat, his under truck guy. As I stepped out, the rain easing to a drizzle, he leaned over. Nathan? Whatever he said, it's his loss. You're not a mess. You're a storm. And storms change everything. I watched his taillights fade into the night, my chest tight with something unnamed. Gratitude? Maybe, or the spark of possibility. Back in my apartment, peeling off wet clothes and crashing onto the futon, I replayed his words. For the first time in months, sleep came easy, laced with the faint hope that kindness wasn't just a ride. It was a road. The next morning, Seattle woke under a rare sliver of sun, the kind that tricks you into believing in second chances. I woke to a text from Jasper. Survived the night? Coffee run on me if you're free. No strings, just caffeine. My thumb hovered, heart doing that stupid flip it hadn't since college crushes. Why not? What was one coffee in a city of 9 million? We met at a dive in Fremont called the People's Republic, all mismatched chairs and walls papered with band flyers. Jasper was already there, 2 mugs steaming on a Formica table scarred by years of spills. He slid one over as I sat. Black, no sugar. Figured you'd want consistency after last night. You remembered. I wrapped my hands around the warmth, studying him in daylight. Up close, the tattoos resolved into a compass rose on one arm, a faded anchor on the other. Symbols of a man who'd navigated rough seas. Photographic memory for coffee orders. And for guys who look like they've been through the ringer. His smile was lopsided, disarming. We talked easy, about the Mariners' endless losing streak, the best food trucks in Pioneer Square, how I'd moved here from Spokane chasing a graphic design gig that fizzled into freelance scraps. Jasper shared bits of his world. Growing up in a Tacoma trailer park, enlisting in the Army right out of high school for the GI Bill, coming home to a brother hooked on pills and a mom who'd remarried a saint of a guy who ran an auto shop. You're like this open book? I said, stirring in sugar despite myself. Most guys play it cool, layers and all. He leaned back, cap off now, dark hair tousled. Cool's overrated. Life's too short for games. Especially after. He trailed off, eyes distant for a beat. Anyway, what's your damage? Besides the ex. I hesitated, then spilled. The closeted high school years, coming out to parents who nodded politely but changed the subject at Thanksgiving. The string of hookups that left me hollow. Mark, the ex, who'd promised forever until my neediness became too much. Jasper listened, no interruptions, just nods that said he got it. The ache of loving in a world that sometimes loves back conditional. By the time we parted, the sun was high, and he'd roped me into helping at his buddy's bike shop that afternoon. Nothing fancy, he said. Just tightening chains, swapping tires. Clears the head. The shop was a grease-stained sanctuary in Wallingford. Bikes hanging like wind chimes from rafters. Jasper handed me a wrench, our hands lingering again, and we lost hours in the rhythm of it. Metal on metal, laughter over stripped bolts. As dusk fell, he wiped his hands on a rag, smearing oil across his cheek. You're a natural, Hayes. Ever think about ditching the laptop for something that doesn't glitch? I grinned, wiping sweat from my brow. Tempting, but I'd miss the existential dread of client revisions. That night, texts flew like fireflies. Memes about bad exes, a photo of his truck's dashboard lit by street lamps. Safe travels, I'd reply, but it felt like more. Like the start of a detour I hadn't mapped. Weeks blurred into a montage of stolen moments. Jasper picked me up after late shifts at the co-working space, blasting Springsteen as we cruised the I-5, windows down, wind whipping our secrets into the ether. We'd grab pho in the International District, elbows touching over steaming bowls, or hike Discovery Park at dawn, the sound crashing below like applause for our quiet confessions. You're different, I told him one evening, sprawled on a blanket in Golden Gardens, the Olympics purple in the distance. Fireworks popped over the water, some summer festival, and his head rested on my thigh, fingers tracing lazy patterns on my knee. How so? His voice was soft, vulnerable in the fading light. You see me, not the polished version I post on Instagram, but the guy who cries at Pixar movies and second-guesses every choice. He sat up, eyes locking on mine, the air thick with salt and possibility. Because you're worth seeing, Nathan. All of you, the storms and the sun. Our first kiss happened there, under a sky streaked with stars, tentative at first, then deepening like a promise. His lips tasted of salt and certainty, hands cupping my face as if I were fragile porcelain. No rush, no heat of the moment, just the slow burn of two souls recognizing home. But Seattle's undercurrents run deep, and ours was no exception. It started with a text from Mark, innocuous at first. Heard you're seeing the Uber dude. Careful, he's got baggage. I brushed it off, but doubt is a weed, seeding quiet corners. Then came the whispers. A mutual friend at a Belltown bar mentioned Jasper's wild phase post-army. Parties that ended in regrets, a reputation for vanishing when things got real. Guy's sweet, she said, swirling her gin. But he's got walls higher than the Space Needle. I confronted him over burgers at Dick's, the neon glow casting shadows on his face. What's the deal, Jez? People say you bolt when it counts. He set down his fry, expression shuddering. Who said that? Does it matter? I'm asking you. A long pause, the sizzle of the drive-through fading. I did bolt once. After the army, I fell hard for this guy, Alex. We had plans, a little place in Queen and... But when he asked me to meet his folks, I panicked. Ghosts, remember? Dad's abandonment, the fear I'd screw it up like he did. I ghosted him. Clean break. Haven't dated seriously since. My stomach nodded. And me? Am I just the rebound right along? No. He reached across the sticky table, gripping my hand. You're the reason I'm not running. But yeah, it scares the hell out of me. We patched it with honesty. Nights tangled in my sheets. Talks till dawn, not bodies, but hearts laid bare. He met my friends at a trivia night in Georgetown, charming them with dad jokes and a killer impression of Tom Hanks in Big. I tagged along to his mom's Sunday barbecue in Tacoma, her hug fierce as she whispered, he smiles more now, because of you. Fall crept in, leaves turning the arboretum to fire. We carved pumpkins on my fire escape, his knife steady as he etched a lopsided heart. For the sap in me, he grinned, flicking seeds at my nose. But betrayal brews in the blind spots. It hit on a crisp November eve, me waiting for our usual pickup after a gallery opening in Pioneer Square. My phone died, forgot the charger, and Jasper was late. I paced, the market stalls shuddering, when I saw his truck idling across the street. But he wasn't alone. In the passenger seat, leaning close, was Mark, my ex, hand on Jasper's thigh, laughing in that intimate way that twisted my gut. I crossed the street like a man possessed, rain starting again, slicking the cobblestones. Yanked the door open. What the actual fuck? Mark smirked, sliding back. Nathan. Small world. Jasper's face drained of color. It's not. Save it. I slammed the door, storming into the downpour, heart shattering like the first hailstones. He caught me 2 blocks away, grabbing my arm under a street lamp's halo. Listen, please, he called. Said you two were done. Needed a ride home from the bar. I didn't know he'd be like that. He grabbed my leg. I shoved him off. Swear on my mom. Liar. Tears mixed with rain, hot and furious. You two plotting behind my back. The texts, the warnings, it was you, wasn't it? Testing the waters. No, God, no. His voice cracked, hands hovering like he wanted to pull me close but knew better. Mark's toxic, Nate. He cornered me last week at the shop, asking about you, fishing for dirt. I told him to fuck off. Tonight was coincidence. A bad one. I shoved him back, chest heaving. Coincidence? In a city this big? You're just like him. Kind till it's inconvenient. The words landed like punches. Jasper staggered, eyes glistening. Maybe I am. But I love you, Nathan. That's not convenient. That's everything. Love. The word hung, a lifeline or a noose. I turned, walking away, the rain swallowing his pleas. Days blurred into a gray haze. I ghosted him, ironic, the runner teaching the lesson. Work suffered. Sketches turned to scribbles, clients ghosting me right back. Friends staged interventions over IPAs at Elysian, urging, give the guy a chance. Not everyone's out to burn you. But betrayal's poison lingers. Then came the accident. Jasper's text voicemail. Really? Left at 2 a.m. Nate, it's bad. Mom's in the hospital. Heart thing. I get if you hate me, but if you're out there, I could use a friend. Just one ride. I drove through the night, windshield wipers battling sleet, heart battling itself. Tacoma General loomed, sterile and unforgiving. I found him in the waiting room, slumped in a plastic chair, flannel rumpled, eyes red-rimmed. Yes. My voice was a whisper. He looked up, wrecked. You came. We sat there, silence thick as fog off the sound. Then it spilled. His mom's weak heart, the same one that had carried them through Dad's abandonment. The brother who'd relapsed, failing on family duty again. I'm scared, Nate, of losing her, of being alone in this. I took his hand, calluses rough against my palm. You're not. Hours ticked by. Doctor's murmurs, vending machine coffee gone cold. His mom pulled through surgery, a fighter to the end. In the hallway, dawn breaking gray, Jasper turned to me. I fucked up. Not with Mark, that was nothing. But by letting my fears make you doubt us. Fears are fair, I said, voice steady for the first time in weeks. Mine too. But love? That's the risk. The kindness we give, even when it hurts. He pulled me into a hug, bodies fitting like puzzle pieces weathered by storms. Then let's risk it. Together. We drove back to Seattle as the sun crested. His mom's borrowed strength in the rearview. No grand gestures, just quiet rebuilding. Therapy sessions in Belltown, where I unpacked my abandonment scars. Him teaching me to change a tire, hands guiding mine under the truck's hood. Mark faded to a bad memory, blocked and buried. Winter thawed to spring, cherry blossoms dusting the U District like confetti. On our 6-month mark, Jasper proposed a road trip. No Ubers, just his truck loaded with coolers and dreams. We aimed south. 5 unspooling like a ribbon to California, stopping at diners where waitresses called us you too with winks. In Big Sur, cliffs plunging to turquoise waves, we parked at a pull-out, ocean roaring approval. He knelt, not with a ring, but a compass keychain, engraved, "Navigate with me." Not forever yet, he said, voice thick, but always the next mile. I kissed him, salt on our lips from the spray. Deal. Back in Seattle, life settled into rhythms, his auto shop gig turning full-time, my designs landing a client in tech. We adopted a mutt from the shelter, named him Scout, who chewed Jasper's boots but slept between us like a furry chaperone. Betrayal's shadow lingers, a reminder that trust is rebuilt brick by brick. But in the quiet moments, Jasper's hand in mine on the ferry to Bainbridge, or his laugh echoing in our new apartment in Ballard, I see the truth. Kindness isn't unexpected. It's the map we choose, storm or shine. And on the nights rain lashes the windows, we huddle close, thermos steaming between us. Remember when? I whisper. He grins, that crinkle-eyed one. Best ride of my life.